morning, viewers, listeners, fans, followers, friends from Nigeria, across Africa, and around the world. This is Smart Mado Ajaja, the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, and the anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN and the Nightingale Radio International from Houston, Texas, United States of America. How are you all doing? It's 1:26 a.m. here, Central Standard Time, in Houston, Texas. I wish to use this medium and opportunity to thank all those who listened to my earlier broadcasts since the past couple of days. A lot going on in Nigeria, and some more are still going on. And we are a movement in search of a solution, a lasting solution to these nagging problems that we are having in Nigeria and the rest of Africa. Nigeria is on the stage, sadly, for with a lot of negative news and terrible vibrations coming out. Truly, I didn't know that we have this type of problem. The magnitude of the Nigerian problem is really amazing. How huge it is, and things that we've been joking with for a very long time, and that requires all of us, to really take a position and decisively, end this terrible trajectory, that has been taking place in the past 64 going to 65 years. We can't continue this journey this way with the very wrong, the worst leading us. A country, populated by millions of high-level intellectuals within its shores and outside its shores, especially here in the United States, having the very worst of us as leaders at all levels and in all sectors. It's a disgrace. It's a show of shame that all right-thinking Nigerians must rise up to reverse. The damage already done is enormous. We can only hope, hopefully, that we can resolve as much as we can, because truly the problem of Nigeria has gone beyond generational. It is humongous. This is not a time to shy away. I spoke earlier about the problems, the show of shame between Nigerian young people and their South African people, misguided, population of youths, yes, who are idle, mostly unemployed, perhaps for no cost of theirs, but that is not a reason why we should make an already bad situation worse. I'm so sad that we are where we are in Africa, and especially in Nigeria. Yes, I'm speaking today about the attitudes of the drivers of the very weak Nigerian Armed Forces now, the armed forces that has been compromised by corruption, tribalism, nepotism, terrorism, and all kinds of ism and schism. Yes, the Nigerian Armed Forces has been destroyed. The destruction was heightened by Muhammadu Buhari, who recruited terrorists and bandits into the armed forces and gave them command positions. Yes, in our Nigeria's armed forces. Yes, criminals, rogues, terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists, Fulani bandits are holding command positions in the Nigerian Armed Forces. A destruction that has just reached a very dangerous crescendo, to the extent that the army of Nigeria has become a scandalous ridicule in Africa. This is not an army. This is no longer an army. What we have in Nigeria is a militia. Yes, commanded by some corrupt gangsters, very uneducated and unpatriotic. To be reading that Nigeria's so-called chief of army staff, Orid Lagbaja, came out warning Nigerians and trying to educate Nigerians, about the new role of the army against what is constitutional. The constitutional provision for the army requires that the army defends Nigeria's territorial integrity. Yes, but the Nigerian army has become an army that defends corrupt men in government, corrupt government, rogue government with all of its ugly policies that are negatively impacting members of the armed forces. Yes, that is what is taking place. That he has vowed that their job now is to defend democracy. Where is the democracy in Nigeria? I wonder where it is. The democracy of a rogue, the democracy of a terrorist, the democracy that empowers a drug dealer, a democracy that empowers a certificate forger, to compromise our court system, compromise the traditional institution, compromise the judiciary, compromise the armed forces to come to power. There was no voting in Nigeria. The election, the outcome of the 2023 election has not been made public the way it should be made to the people of Nigeria. There were a lot of irregularities. This man, God knows, and he knows, the whole of Nigeria know that he did not win an election. He forced himself on top of the people in a gang up and a conspiracy against the well-being and destiny of our country. Yes, the elites of Nigeria came together, those who don't want Nigeria to be open, to equal access to opportunity for all. Those who want to confiscate Nigeria, they have confiscated the country in a generational manner, that they run the economy. They are not just running it, they run it down, they run it aground. They destroyed our educational system. They destroyed our healthcare delivery system. They destroyed our infrastructure. There is no light as we speak in Nigeria. Total darkness. The hope of growing the economy is zero. All companies that were in Nigeria from independence have all vacated and packed up and are leaving Nigeria in drove. That is what their understanding of running an economy is. And here comes an armed forces that has been reduced to a ridiculous national militia that cannot fight Boko Haram. Yes, there is threat to our territorial integrity right inside our country. They are not addressing that. They are busy defending a makeshift democracy, a mockery of democracy in Nigeria, because their tribesman is roguely, illegitimately, and illegally holding the country hostage. Our army, our armed forces have become a mob armed forces. Sad that two spearheads of this madness in the armed forces, the one they call General Christopher Musa, who claims to be the chief of defense staff, a rogue chief of defense staff, because he was appointed by a rogue who never won an election, a man who violated the constitution of Nigeria. Yes, coming out to be making political statements. I have never heard of soldiers anywhere in all the countries I've been to, including the United States where I live, that soldiers come and be making political statements, threatening the people, blackmailing them, cowering them. They're threatening them with the use of maximum force about their defense of democracy. There are enough politicians to defend democracy. But in Nigeria, in Africa, soldiers defend democracy. Where is this done? They vowed. They have been vowing. They have been talking much more than career politicians. They are in cahoots to bring darkness upon our country. And this is the reason why the people of Nigeria must stand up and resist them. Now, our people are not able to exercise their rights to the citizenship of Nigeria. Nigerians cannot protest in a supposed democracy. When the Nigerian people come out to raise their voice, they deploy this crazy army, yes, commanded by criminals, to quell the people. They shoot, maim, kill, and destroy our people, scare the hell out of them. And now the people have become scary cats who cannot open their mouths to say anything because one ugly dark man is in position, forced himself on the people of Nigeria. At what point will Nigerians say no? Just yesterday and just this morning, a reinforcement of an earlier speech made by, I won't call him Mr. General anything, Mr. Taurid Lagbaja, the so-called Chief of Army Staff, so unintelligent, so uneducated, so unpatriotic, so savage, so crooked, so lackluster. Yes, coming out to say they are out to defend democracy and defend the government. Defend which government, if I must ask? A government that is sitting idly by while Boko Haram and Fulani headsmen have taken over territories, Nigerian territories in all states. Yes, where is he? They cannot deploy army. They can't go and comb our forest. They work with these terrorists. They are part of the terrorism, that is killing our people, raping our people, kidnapping our people. Yes, when the people of in various communities rise up to defend themselves, they deploy the army against them. Yes, the Nigerian army defend the terrorists against the people. They fight on behalf of the terrorists. They join with them to fight the people of Nigeria. Is that an army? Is that an army? That is, Lagbaja is come to tell us, to teach us. He was lecturing Nigerians on the difference between democratic and military government. To be fair, not like that is what I would want. To be fair, since independence, since I knew what I know now, and somebody who has been around the periphery of the Nigerian army, the army has done, the armed forces, when they seize power, they have done better than all the civilian administrations put together. What a shame. This is not something that we should celebrate. Here comes this idiot, Chief of Army Staff, wanting to lecture the people of Nigeria about democracy and that they have come to defend democracy. Quite frankly, he knows what he's doing. He knows he's not defending democracy. He knows that he's defending the corrupt and morally bankrupt Emilokon ideology. Yes, hinged on tribalism. He is out to defend Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the rogue, the criminal, the fraudster, the identity thief, the certificate forger. Yes, that we know absolutely nothing about his birth. We don't know where he was born. No history of schools attended. Nothing about him. Everything about him is shrouded in secrecy. A man who is 71 years and his daughter, his first daughter is how old? 61 years old. So he had a child when he was 10 years old. And that is a case of perjury. And Nigerians will make comedy as usual and let it go. It is sad that we are in this situation. Yes, this is where we are with this criminal. Criminals have taken over our country to see that the armed forces that is supposed to be standing up for the people of Nigeria is part of the conspiracy destroying Nigeria. Leaves a lot to be desired. Leaves a lot to be desired. Nigerians, now, why have you been quiet? Why are you not saying something? We have eminent Nigerians going to bow before a criminal. The last that I personally saw was a Chief Emeka Anyoko. Yeah, an eminent Nigerian, a man that we thought stands on a moral high ground, going to negotiate, to talk to a criminal. Yes, instead of asking him to leave and allow the people of Nigeria decide their destiny, he was going there to negotiate, to talk about a constitution. How will a criminal who came breaking the constitution make the constitution of Nigeria hold? And this is the reason why I tell those of us, those my friends, my brothers and sisters in Nigeria, talking about 2027. You guys are crazy. What are you talking about 2027 for? Where is 2027 going to come? A criminal who came from the periphery and then bought everything that needed to be bought to put himself in power. You think now he's sitting down, consolidating that there is a way you are going to defeat him in 2027 when he rigged himself into power. You saw the INEC chairman a night before the presidential election. He was at his house in Lagos. They flew him in a jet to Lagos to make merry. You all saw it. You brought it on the internet. Everybody saw it. Nigerians, why have we become these big cowards? How? What happened to us that we became this cowardly nation? Yes, we all saw it. It was widely shared. Mahmoud Yakubu was at Bola Ahmed Tinubu's house a day to the presidential 2023 presidential election day. A night he was there. He was flown by his private jet to and fro to Abuja. And the following day was election. And we still didn't get it. The election went on. In some places was very peaceful. And nearly all the major polling stations, the results were there. People had the original results. Now, all of a sudden, they turned up the server. The server stopped working. And then the abracadabra happened. Midnight, when everybody was sleeping, Nigerians woke up in the middle of the night to hear that a criminal who did not win an election was announced winner. The people of Nigeria went to sleep. The youths of Nigeria went to sleep. Even the man who is supposed to be the symbol of a revolution in Nigeria went to sleep. He was telling them to go and pray. Pray for what? Pray to who? So you think God is owned by you? Yes. You can't twist the arm of God. The people of Nigeria went to sleep. A day passed, and they said they wanted to go to court. We were saying, all eyes on the judiciary. All eyes on the judiciary. All eyes on the judiciary. Nigerian judiciary, do they care? They have been paid money. The job had been concluded. Everybody who needed to be paid had been paid. We were yelling, all eyes on the judiciary. Instead of going to seize INEC, instead of going to seize the court, the day came. The first appearance, the first ruling in the court, the Federal Court of Appeal. It was sad how many people, nearly everybody in the courtroom went to sleep. I am talking about practically sleeping, including Sheon Akimbaloye was caught sleeping. A journalist who was supposed to be reporting the event. He was sleeping. All the lawyers, Ozekome, all of them were sleeping. Like they bombed the courtroom with some kind of sleeping anesthesia. Everybody went to sleep. And the judge who read the judgment spent over how many hours reading from scrap papers. Yeah, just to tell you that this judgment was contrived. And then Nigeria went to sleep. They said the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court. All eyes on the judiciary. Hey, All eyes on. I told them, which judiciary are you talking about? Which judiciary are you talking about? All eyes on. The day came, the ruling, final ruling was given. And then we were saying, okay, they have given, now we're going to take over Nigeria. Waiting for May 29. On May 29, all the noise, we are good at making noise. We are good at making noise. All the noise we're making, the big church owners, including those who were spitting fire, they went to sleep. Thugs, led by Asari Dokubo, an oil thief, took over the heart of Abuja, chased everybody inside their holes. Abuja populated by over 4 million Nigerians. Nobody, they could not come out. They could not come out. They could not come out. And you are saying you are waiting for 2027. How are you going to get 2027? How are you going to win it? 2027 will come and go. And then we wait again for 2031, right? Maybe, yeah, 2031. And this thing has been going on. It's time to decisively end this nonsense created by less than 10,000 people in Nigeria are running 250 million Nigerians into their holes. Yes, Nigeria has no youth. Nigeria has no youth. Nigeria has no middle class. Nigeria has no eminent men of truth anymore. Nobody speaks the truth. And this is what gives them the audacity to get worse with every election. They get worse. They know that we will brag, we will make all this noise and do absolutely nothing. You see, the last kangaroo protest that they made, I know it was a government protest. Yes. The people who claim to be leading the protest were applying to use Eagle Square. They were applying to use the National Stadium. Who goes to protest in the National Stadium? They were given designated places to protest. Is that protest? Was that what the Senegalese did? To put Faye, a young man, in power? Yes, a young man. The president of Senegal took him in and put him in jail in order to prevent him from running in that election. But the Senegalese youth seized their country and said that if Faye was not released, if the other young man, Sonko, was not released, there was not going to be any election. What happened? What happened? Iron obeyed. The Senegalese iron obeyed. What is wrong with Nigerians? We make noise. Our country, we say we are giant of Africa. Why will children of giants behave like rats? Giant of Africa. How are we giant of Africa? If we cannot be brave to take our country, giant of Africa. 2 weeks to an election. That was when they released Faye, released Sonko. Faye went and stood 2 weeks, only 2 weeks of campaign. 2 weeks of campaign. 2 weeks of campaign. Faye came, won the election. Yes. Today is president of Senegal. And then when that happened, Nigerian youths were so hyped. But when it comes to Nigeria, they can't do anything. Ordinary to unite. One stupid sultan will be telling that the people in the north that is a battle between Christian and Muslim, that they must support their own. Hypocrite, corrupt man. He should not be in that position if the people there know what they are doing. He says he's the leader of Muslims in Nigeria, but he's bereft of morality, morally bankrupt. Yes, and that is the spirituality with which Nigeria is being led, rogue spirituality. In the other parts of Nigeria, it's the same nonsense. Adeboye and his gang are exploiting and blackmailing our poor people and taking all their money from them to build mansions, to buy aircraft that they do not deserve. Mislead, they scare the shit out of our people. They tell them, God, Jesus is going to come and fix it. How will Jesus fix it? Is Jesus a politician? Is Jesus doing part of, is he going to hospital? Is Jesus traveling on the same road with you? Even if they make us believe that that is the truth, Jesus is not a lazy God. He wasn't lazy. He came. If what they wrote was anything to go by, he came and demonstrated. Jesus was a revolutionary. Yes. If you don't know, he wasn't that gentleman. He was a revolutionary. He came to change a system. He came to shake up a system. I don't know what the colonial masters who came, they came through their missionaries, clutching the Bible, the same thing the Arabs did with the Quran, lie to our people, tell them to look up to God, close your eyes, and they are stealing from us. They messed up our brains. We have never recovered. And when they were leaving, they left their fraud in the hands of people who look like us, who feed like us, who speak like us, who dress like us, who do everything like us. They are worse than those who handed over the fraud to them. Look at their country, what they thought. I hear Adeboye came shamefully, shamelessly or shamelessly, whatever they call it, to tell us that the problem of Nigeria is spiritual. Okay, solve it now. Solve it. You say you are a man of God. The man who goes with whom God drinks tea. He said he had a breakfast with God. He drank tea with God. God Almighty. Well, if what I read that Bible, as a Rasta, we read Bible. Well, I've read that Bible so many times. The way they describe God, to see him in person, he was so fiery that you is like a furnace. He drank tea with God. And he couldn't tell God to give Nigeria a cup of tea of peace, a cup of tea of a solution to all of his problems, so that there will be peace, there will be progress, there will be harmony, there will be development in the country. So he's a selfish man. He drank the tea that the Almighty God gave to him all by himself. He came here too and lied that God stopped winter in America because of him. And our people will say amen. We say amen to all these lies. That's how messed up we are. Gumi is doing the same thing, worse, in the north. He speaks for terrorists. He's the voice of Boko Haram. He's the voice of Fulani bandits. He speaks with AK-47 behind him. A man who was expelled from Saudi Arabia. Gumi cannot go into Saudi Arabia because he was connected with terrorism. Saudi Arabia expelled him. Those are the type of people our people listen to. Fulani Sultan of Sokoto. They call him spiritual leader of Muslims in Nigeria. I don't even know how they made him that. They gave them the spiritual leader. He has been there. Nobody else can be. He is his position forever. Nobody can be that spiritual leader. Even it's a corrupt man, morally bankrupt. That's why we are coming after them. Nigerians, wake up. Wake up. And then you get some idiots who say they are service chiefs of the Nigerian Army, defense chief, right, to harass, to beat down our people. Who is going to do it for you? Who is going to do it for you if not you? Our young people will travel from Nigeria on foot to Libya, to Morocco, in order to be able to cross into Europe, where they are kept in concentration camps and treated like pigs in pig pens and like birds in poultries. People from a very rich country. So if you can convert that energy into taking those risks, trekking across the hot, scorching Sahara deserts, into Libya that has been destabilized, and made hell, turned into hell right now. From the heaven it was. And then those Arabs, they are so mean and so wicked. They will trade them like commodities. They kill those they will kill. And then those who are able to escape are pushed into the Mediterranean, where thousands of African youths have perished. And then some of them make it through. I know one who made it through. He's not the same anymore. The trauma he went through, he keeps on getting nightmares over it. Yes. And they go there. There are no opportunities. They end up being street beggars. People from such a vast, rich country, we are suffering. We have no leaders. We have some of the best intellectuals on earth. But then they can't take their country and lead it aright. Because they went to sleep and allowed vagrants to take over Nigeria. They allowed street boys to take over Nigeria. How dare a drug dealer become president of Nigeria with all of us wide awake? We allowed it to happen. And look at where we are. How dare we allow Muhammadu Buhari, who had no certificate, to rise to the rank of a general in Nigeria's army, and then became head of state and became president 2 times. Look at where we are. Why should we be so stupid and so naive to allow a terrorist, I'm talking about Kashim Shettima, become the vice president of Nigeria? Kashim Shettima, in whose house the bombers of the United Nations building that killed scores of local and international workers in 2011, he went on to become our country's vice president. Wale Soyinka approved. He couldn't speak anymore. Wale Soyinka has been vocal against all leaders who have led Nigeria. But in this time, he kept quiet because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is his friend. I'm sure he has something to do with drugs. For him to be so close to a drug dealer, he kept quiet and he was lying, an old man lying. He wrecked himself. Femi Falana, neither here nor there. But the judge now has gotten his hand in the cookie jar. He's speaking on behalf of the evil. Festus Keyamo, a young man who had taken this same criminal to the court over his certificate, now became his minister. Nigeria, something is not right with us. We got to get up and stand up. Ain't nobody gonna do it for us. If we decide that we truly want to unite and take our country back, who is Lagbaja to stop us? Who is Christopher Musa to stop us? But because we are corrupt, all of us are corrupt and morally bankrupt. All of us have eaten from the fruit of Babylon. We cannot stand up. All of us are tribally corrupt. You are a Yoruba man because a Yoruba thief is holding the entire country hostage. You zip your mouth. You keep quiet. What are you benefiting? Is there any special market for the Yoruba people where they are getting discounts from buying anything the way things are now in Nigeria? Why are some Yorubas keeping quiet? Why are some defending this evil? We are supposed to be in one Nigeria, and all of us are suffering. Why are you a Muslim keeping quiet over this if you are not a hypocrite? A true Muslim should speak the truth at all times. Why are we quiet? Because it's our Muslim brother. We are not talking about our country anymore. Our country has become Islam, Christian, tribal, and other nonsense. Then why are we one country? If we cannot rise and see evil and call it by its name, how will Nigeria stand if we cannot stand up now for this country? If we cannot stand up for our children today, if we cannot stand up for their tomorrow, how are we going, what country are we going to leave to them? There is no country anymore. The country is gone. Nigeria is near gone. Where is the country? Who is Christopher Musa to be challenging us? Who is Taurid Lagbaja to be lecturing us on democracy? A Lagbaja that does not even understand his own right as a citizen of Nigeria. A Lagbaja that does not understand the constitutional duty of the Nigerian Armed Forces. A Lagbaja that will deploy soldiers to destroy a community like Okwama. For what? That some soldiers came there on illegal duty and they were caught up in their mess. They killed them. And then Nigeria gave those soldiers, those criminals who went to steal oil in Niger Delta, they gave them full military burial. People who ought to be jailed for veering off to commit crimes in Nigerian Army uniforms. What a country. What a people. Yeah, our country has been hijacked. Terrorists all over the place. And we don't see as that as enough trouble. Our army is only good at attacking civilians. Come to the United States. You will spend a whole month and perhaps a whole year without seeing a soldier on the street. You don't see them. And they don't come out. And when you see them, they are the best behaved people. Yes, the soldiers here are the best behaved people. Because they know their job is not on the streets. And they are not called out to quell riots on the streets. Never. They are never called out to quell riots on the streets. The only time you see soldiers coming out on the streets of America is if there is any natural disaster that requires the Army Corps of Engineers. That is when they deploy them. They call them National Guard. You don't see them. You don't see an American soldier misbehaving, coming out to the street to start be slapping and beating up civilians. You never see it. He knows that if he does it, his ass is going to be in jail. Yes, only in Nigeria. Once one small rat puts on that uniform, even those who have no ranks, they become gods on the streets. They become lords upon themselves. Animals. This is where we are. Look at our country. You are a soldier. Ask Lagbaja, why is your barrack so dirty? Why don't you have electricity in your barrack 24 hours? Why are your toilets so dirty? Why do you live like rats? Ask them. I am talking to the junior officers now. I'm talking to the middle level officers. Because I know the barracks. I have lived there. I know what it is. And I know that nothing has changed. You call yourself a soldier? You wear the uniform. Are you not supposed to be living the best of life? Go ask those who serve as soldiers. Thankfully, there are a lot of Nigerians in the U.S. Armed Forces. Ask them the kind of life they live. The armed forces in the United States provides you an opportunity if you want to do career advancement. You want to go to university. I have a lot of friends who use the army to become PhD, to become all kinds of things. What are you benefiting from being a soldier in Nigerian Army. They lay ambush for you and kill you and collect money from Boko Haram. That's what they are doing. They buy ammunition from America. The ammunition they buy ends up with Boko Haram because they are working together. They are in illegal armed deals. That is why terrorism will not end in Nigeria. Your military high command are involved in the deal, killing you. They set up all those ambushes that are killing the young people there. So what is wrong with you mutinying? Yes. Begin to ask them questions. Who is Lagbaja? Who is Christopher Musa? To be lording it out on us, to be scaring us. Who the hell are they? That is how bad things have gotten with Nigeria. That is the level of erosion of Nigeria. That I've heard Lagbaja speak. He does not come across as an intelligent man. I hope he finished high school like Buhari did not finish. Yes, with the right connection, you can be anything in Nigeria. They promote him. He's now a major general or whatever general. So unintelligent, so unpatriotic, so unpolished. He's not articulate. He cannot even put his. I've heard Christopher Musa too. They don't come out as intelligent people. So if that is these are the best that Nigeria can produce, forget Nigerian Army. That's not an army anymore. I've never really in the past few years. I don't reckon with the Nigerian Army. It's gone. Just like every other institution is led by lackluster, below mediocre personalities. That is how badly Nigeria has degraded. We should not be playing with Nigeria. We should not be folding our arms right now. Now, what can we do? Call for protest in Nigeria. You are not going to get the right type of people to come and protest because people are divided. They are divided even in mass poverty. They are divided even when they are being killed. They still raise their finger in support of tribalism. Some people will say that they are not going to be involved because their involvement before, cost them a lot. Some people are busy protecting their business. I tell you, when Nigeria eventually collapses, your businesses will be wiped out. We cannot build this type of country where people are lackadaisical with everything. What makes you a Nigerian? And that's that definition we are seeking right now. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not going to give us that definition. It is we, the people of Nigeria, that must define what we want. And this is why I have been shouting myself hoarse to the young people of Nigeria who needs very urgently to divorce themselves from the tragedy of the generation before them. They don't see the essence. What interests them is nonsense. What is the meaning of getting yourself involved in a cyber warfare with South Africa? Now you did all that damage. What did it benefit you? The energy you should have channeled into ousting Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know what you did? If you could battle South Africa and bring its economy to its nose in a short period of time with the type of intelligence you exuded. So you could have used the same intelligence since we are afraid of coming out on the street. We could have used the same cyber intelligence to cripple this man and send him out. But you won't do it. Like one of the idiots among you who came saying that, yes, we and the Igbos don't get along inside Nigeria. But when it becomes an international affair, we unite. Stupid statement. I would prefer that you united at home and took care of your business at home. Ensure that there are access to opportunities for everybody at home. Ensure that there are good roads. Ensure that you put the right people who can advocate for you as your leaders at all levels and in every sector, so that the country will be good. So when you move to the international stage, yes, you say, okay, I've made my home good, so I can take on the world now. Nigeria has all it takes to take on the world, but we are not doing it. We fight in reverse gears. We destroy our country. We destroy ourselves. We are filled with hate. We are filled with ignorance. We are we think so backwardly. What does it cost you to unite? Sultan Sokoto and his emirs in the north, and the so-called religious leaders, corrupt elders who call themselves northern elders. They, instead of calling themselves northern Nigerian elders, bring the whole people together. Every time they are dividing the country, every time they are misleading the poor Nigerians out there, that they have held them down. They don't want them to be free to see the rest of Nigeria, to unite with the rest of Nigeria, because they know that if the young people in the north of Nigeria and the young people in the south of Nigeria and elsewhere in Nigeria come together to say, we are Nigerians, they know that they will be put out of business. So they will continue to create those toxic rhetoric to keep them divided. And the same thing some elements in Yoruba land are doing in the southwest. Yes, these two groups, yes, the elites from these two groups, especially Fulani, minority Fulani elitist group, who are holding Nigeria captive. They started this elitist conspiracy against the future and destiny and goodness of Nigeria since 1914, when the amalgamation treaty that they signed to the exclusion of all Nigerian tribal nationalities came into effect. You check the story. We are evidence-based thing. We don't talk stupid. We talk with facts in our hand. 1914, who signed the amalgamation treaty? Two Fulanis, Osman and Fodio Fulanis. One later became Sultan of Sokoto. Two Yoruba elites. One was a lawyer, 1914. One was a lawyer. The other one was a traditional ruler. Shehu of Borno at the time. Yes, again, linked to the Fulanis. All right? That's three coming from there. And then the Obong of Calabar, they threw that one in because the imperialists who formed the Royal Niger Company were there. Calabar was a base for them. So 6 against 22 British Royal Niger Company owners. They signed. There was no Hausa man and his signature there. There was no Igbo man with his signature. There was no Eka man. There was no Ndokwa man. There was no Anyocha man. There was no Beron. There was no Ibibio. There was no other group. Yes, these 6 people signed the hell. Because Nigeria was not supposed to be a country. It was a business empire, a vast empire, vast land, that they just decided, okay, let's amalgamate South and North Protectorate for the good of Imperial Britain. And then they pushed it until 1960. They said, okay, independence. All right, on the independence day, the day they lowered the British flag, who was there? Who was there? So something is not right with Nigeria. So we have to make it right. Nigeria has to erect a new foundation, an expandable and elastic foundation that can accommodate all of us with all our signatures on it. And that is what they don't want. And that is why some people took up guns to be shooting up the country, because they know that when the people of Nigeria comes together, that they will not have the kind of space that they had all these years to run our country aground. We want all our signatures on the new Nigeria. They don't want it. As far as they are concerned, those who took up arms against Nigeria, yes, I'm talking about Osman Danfodio children. They are the ones shooting up Nigeria right now. When you talk about Boko Haram, they are the ones. When you talk about the Fulani bandits, they are the ones. But they have some allies, elitist allies, who are from the southwest. I didn't say all of them, oh, some, yeah, who are from the southwest. If you look at their generation, the relationship dates back as far back as 1914. They are the ones. And they are always ready to play second fiddle. They're always ready to be vice president. They're always ready to be anything, yeah, to the detriment of the rest of Nigeria. And that is what must end. I speak the truth to all of you. We are not afraid of doing it. We are positioned to do this work because we want our country to be free. And for the love of country, that is why we put our lives on the line to do what we are doing. We are not afraid of you. We are not afraid of anyone. We want justice for our country. So Nigerians, I'm calling you, those of you who are conscious, those of you who have been hiding, those who can speak, come on, let us do it together. Join us at Open Nigeria. How do you join? Follow us on Facebook at Open Nigeria 1. You go to Twitter, we are there at Open Nigeria 1. On Instagram, at Open Nigeria 1. On YouTube, at Nigeria Now on ONN. If you want to call me, I will give you my number. My number is +1 832 407 6282. Again, +1 832 407 6282. We can come together and take Nigeria from these criminals. We have the number. Why are we not using it? I want all of us united. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter your religion. Let us put the interest of our country first, because that's what true patriots do. That is what Americans did when they removed themselves from the stranglehold of Imperial Britain. Do you know that America was a British colony? How many of you know, Nigerians who are listening, Africans who are listening to me, how many of you know that America, United States of America, was a British colony? Now, if you didn't know before, now I'm telling you, right on the soil of the United States, that's where I'm telling you this. America was a British colony. But America said, no, fuck it. We're not going to come and you Britain down on us. They severed their link. They severed the links and called the bluff of Little Britain, that's small Britain. Yes. And once America did it take long before America became a superpower, the most powerful country on the surface of the earth? I don't care, rightly or wrongly, yeah, but they are. Yes, Britain cannot open its mouth and talk back to America. Before they do anything, Britain will ask, want to collaborate. That is why they formed NATO. Yes, NATO, that with which they oppress the whole of the world. You Africans, let me stop short of saying something crazy. For real, Africans, Nigerians, we got to wake up. 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 The world has used us for a very long time. The world, Africans, I'm telling you now, the world has used us for too long. The Arabs enslaved us 700 years. The Europeans enslaved us 400 years. How many years? 1,100 years of European and Arab slavery. Yes, only we. Then after that, colonialism, right? They didn't want to export all of us outside Africa. They decided to enslave us inside our own fatherland. All right? We toiled for them. They took our minerals to build their countries. But we live in what? In gulags. We live in ghettos. We who own the resources, we live below poverty line. As we speak, our population is about 1.5 billion people. Majorly poor, extremely poor. But we still have resources, mineral and human and natural resources. But we are not able to benefit from the exploitation of our resources. They have airports in the middle of our jungles, from where they come and harvest whatever they want and live. But we are supposed to have governments who regulate whatever. We don't even have control of our airspace. It's time. It's time. And all these were what our founding fathers saw. All these were what our founding fathers saw about 80 years ago, when they put it in a vision that they wanted to build one country, United States of Africa, with one economy, with one currency, without borders, and with one military. They knew that a day like this that we are dealing with would come, when Africa will be at the threat of a second colonization. It's already beginning to happen in our presence, and we are seeing it. We think it is a joke. We have these mobile devices we are not using effectively. What are you doing with your phone? We are not able to build network of how we are going to change ourselves, change our countries, change our continent for it to work better for us. Majority of those who are making the great inventions across the world from Africa are not inside Africa. But when they go back to Africa, they become like fish out of the water because they don't have the infrastructure to operate. And they go there to meet hostile, stupid puppet governments who hate progress. And before you know it, they frustrate you and don't kill some of us. Did I not go home to Nigeria? I ran for Senate. I wanted to return to Nigeria. So I'll give my best to Nigeria. What happened to me? That is a story for another day. And who was used against me? Majorly the young Nigerian people. They told them I didn't have money. They told them this guy from America is crazy. He will turn our country upside down. Is the country more upside down now? Look at our country, trashed. Nothing is working. Hunger is killing everybody. Insecurity is killing everybody. And we are there. Why are we in Nigeria? We are like animals that we are not supposed to be. We accepted that we are subhumans because of the poor leadership that we have and the terrible followership. A followership that cannot ask questions. A followership that can be paid off with a pittance, and he's okay to continue to live in misery. We got to change something. Something has to give. And now it's time to consider it. This is not a good time. So this is why we don't want this stupid army. We don't want the useless Nigerian army and its commanders who command for cash. Lagbaja is defending his pocket. That is defending his tribal man, and plus the money he will get from inside it. Victor Musa is doing the same thing. It's all about money. They forget that the interest of our country is paramount. They forget that they should not sit idly by to see criminals running our country aground. They forget that Nigeria is their own country. They forget. They forget that the country belongs to all of us and not for one group of persons who hate our country, who hate all of us. Yes, this is our country. We don't have any other country. What are we going to give to the next generation if we cannot defend our country? Why are we so selfish when we are in positions of authority that requires work, that requires us to speak the truth, that requires us to stand up for the common person? Then we turn our faces elsewhere because of our personal benefit. It's time we change things around for Nigeria. It's a pleasure talking to you guys. Like I said, please join us, share our messages. Always look out for when we come online to broadcast. This is a global movement for the whole of the world. And I'm sure that what I speak to some countries other than African countries. I know there are countries around the world who are facing the same type of problems that we are facing. Please take this the solution that I proffer as perhaps, if it works in your own environment, use it. And I will look forward to seeing you again. Good morning.